host of the Gridiron.
All right, welcome to the Gridiron. If you can give this video a thumbs up and maybe share this video, that would be absolutely freaking phenomenal. If you subscribe to my channel, thank you. If not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way, next time I go live or if I put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. It's totally 100% free of charge. What do you got to lose, right? But if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. If you want to help support my channel out, the description box below, very top link, takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. Each one has their own little perks to them. So if you want to help support my channel out, it would mean so much to me. And I thank you in advance. Thank you. And then finally, just below that, there's another link. It takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. We have over 9,500 members in the group. It's doing simply marvelous, might I add. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing, and if I got internet access, I'm putting stuff in this group darn near 365. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. Please join it. You will not be dissatisfied. I promise. You will not be dissatisfied, unlike what the New York Giants put out for us to look at, right? That's a little disappointing. But then again, once again, you know, it was the same thing with the Ravens game. Now, I mean, this one you certainly, you know, I mean, this was a big game for the Falcons. I mean, you know, now they're right there. I mean, after the Bucs lost, coupled up with the Falcons win, now they're both 8-7. I mean, you know, one game does not obviously does not a Hall of Famer make, but you know, I mean, Penix / the Giants helping Penix, I guess, you know, made Penix, you know, not too bad at all. Once again, it's just the first game for him. Hopefully in a nice long history for him. I mentioned this before. I think when we were talking about that, I think the preview of the game is that, you know, the thing that this league needs is, you know, we need quarterbacks. Obviously, that's why it's so one of, you know, a lot of times like you know, it's can't find, you know, like good left tackles. I mean, it's like, you know, maybe every team does not have a really good left, you know, all the people on the face of the earth here, right? And we can't get 32. I mean, you can get 32 quarterbacks. Of course, there's trillions of, there's tons of quarterbacks out there. But quarterbacks worthy of being able to take it to a Super Bowl, right? It's very, very difficult. So, I mean, we need quarterbacks in this league to certainly make it a more competitive league. Because a lot of times, you know, you look at it, obviously, a lot of times, like, you know, the teams that, you know, obviously kind of down toward the bottom, like the Giants, need quarterbacks. You know, other teams that, I mean, some of the teams that maybe are at the bottom, you know, maybe like let's just take the Patriots, possibly found their quarterback, but now they got to start building a team around the quarterback. And that's why it's very tough maybe for, you know, I don't know what kind of expansion, you know, the NFL has in mind or looking down the road or whatever. But I mean, it's like, you know, every year, you know, you have however many teams need quarterbacks, and you know, it's kind of tough to, you know, think about like expansion. Hey, let's expand. Let's put some more. You know, I mean, how cool would it be? You know, I mean, right? I don't know. Yeah, put some more teams in. Whether you know, they want to thinking about, you know, taking something out, you know, be crazy as it is, about to Europe or something, maybe in South America or whatever, you know, or just get more teams in the continent of the United States, or, you know. But it's kind of difficult when you need quarterbacks. So as I said, you know, obviously the first game, Penix did good, right? Some of it also happened to be that he was going against the Giants. You know, it's kind of like a get-right game, but it was like with you know, Drew Lock, right? I mean, he figured a game with Dallas, right? I mean, he had the pick six. I mean, that was a kind of a, you know, very athletic play by the defender for Dallas. But it was a pick six, 7 points. Then Drew Lock, right? I can't remember. I forgot what quarter it was. But when he fumbled the ball against Dallas, he tried to scramble, get up the middle, I guess, try to get a first down, and didn't protect the ball very well. Got knocked out. The Cowboys recovered it. I think it was 6 plays later they scored a touchdown. I mean, right? There's 14 points right there. Take that 14 points off the board for the Cowboys, and maybe we're talking. I mean, because if Drew Lock got sacked or whatever it was, where we were at in the field there, and give the Hammer a chance to punt the ball. I mean, Cowboys got the ball down deep in their own territory. Maybe they don't score a touchdown. You know what I mean? But I said, like here, same thing here. I mean, 2 pick sixes, not one. Let's go for 2, right? And then, of course, the fumble. Then shortly after that, once again, the Falcons scored another touchdown. It's 21 points. Almost directly / indirectly right off of turnovers. 21 points. 34-7. I know you can't do it, but woulda, coulda, shoulda. Take 21 points off of, right? It's 13-7. I mean, of course, it probably wouldn't have worked out like that, but the game's a heck of a lot closer. Just the turnovers just kill us. I mean, hey, yeah, we got another interception, right? Hey, yeah, miracles do happen, right? But I mean, obviously, the Giants, I guess their one big one for, apparently for the whole year would be the blocked field goal we had returned back for a touchdown. But I mean, other than that, we're not getting, game-changing sacks or game-changing strip sack, fumble recoveries, or just just interceptions. We're not getting our own pick sixes, run back. Once again, just another brutal. And now Drew Lock on his throwing shoulder, just unbelievable. Had an MRI today. Today we'll talk more about it, I guess, on Tuesday, what's going on. But I mean, Drew Lock, it has something. He said it could be just nothing, could be just soreness, but he had an MRI done on his shoulder. He could be out for the season. I mean, just say something cracked or something or whatever. You can forget about him for the rest of the season. Maybe put the Beetle back in there. It's like, what the is going on? Absolutely unbelievable. But let's go over this. I got, obviously, once again, I got some articles here. Just to help recap the absolute trash that the Giants put out there once again. It's just, oh my God. It's just so difficult. So difficult. So I got new notes and stats from the Giants and Falcons recap. It took only 13 games for Malik Nabers to break the Giants' single-season record. I mean, one thing, as I said, I talked, obviously, about Burnsy, right, and Malik Nabers. Obviously, there's other guys out there, I certainly don't want to overlook. I mean, Tracy, and, but I mean, Malik's had always had something. Seems like a hip, a groin, a this, a that, concussion. I mean, he's had all kinds of stuff. The only thing that's kept him out has been the concussions, right? Or the concussion. I do apologize. But I mean, absolute, total trash offense. And the dude broke our record set by OBJ, a rookie reception, not reception yards. That was OBJ. So let's not forget he had a future Hall of Fame quarterback throwing the ball. So, but you got to give Malik, a lot of credit. He doesn't quite have 1,000 receiving yards yet. Hopefully, he'll get that this week coming up. Same thing with Tracy. Tracy does not quite have 1,000 total all-purpose yards, whatever, rushing, receiving yet. They kind of like nickel and dime in their way there. But hopefully, maybe this upcoming game against the Colts, hopefully both of them will eclipse the 1,000 yards on the season. That'd be fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I mean, just, Yeah, I mean, I said, like you see what Saquon's done with the Eagles, and the only reason why he's doing that is because it's with the Eagles, right? He's not doing that with the Giants. Not happening. But I said, if there's ever a point in time where we get any kind of resemblance of an offensive line. I mean, a quarterback. Yeah, you can possibly see where maybe Malik Nabers and Tyrone Tracy, can take their game to the next level. I mean, I'm not saying Tyrone will be a phenomenal, unbelievable running back, but you can certainly see, right? Hey, dude's a 5th-round pick. You can certainly see, right? And he wasn't even the starter the first 4 or 5 games of the season, right? Or else he would have eclipsed 1,000 yards already. His big problem, is he needs to hold on to the ball, but he's been doing a much better job of that, right? Since we had with the Carolina game, right? But he's done a much better job of that. But you can certainly see where I said I'm not saying Tracy's going to be our 1,000-yard rusher running back for but you can certainly see he stays healthy. With a competent offense and all and everything, where he can certainly have at least 1,000 yards, all-purpose yards, without question. So it's a very good pick. Nabers caught 7 passes for 68 yards to increase his season total to 97 catches. That is a Giants rookie record, breaking the former of 91, shared by Odell and Saquon. He needs 3 receptions in the final 2 games to become the 5th rookie in NFL history with at least 100 catches, and 9 to break Puka Nacua's league rookie record of 105, set in 2023. So the Eagles have a very good pass defense. So, I mean, they'll certainly catch some balls against the Eagles, but they have a very good pass defense. Brock Bowers, who caught 11 passes in Sunday's game, has 101 on the season. That ties Anquon Boldin for the 3rd highest rookie total in NFL history. So, but also Brock has played, I believe, in every game, though, too. Had Malik played in every game, he'd probably have more than what Brock has. But anyway. Nabers joined Boldin and Glenn as the only rookies in NFL history with 5+ catches in 12 games. Nabers' 68 yards increases total to 969, and he's just 31 yards shy of becoming 1,000. Beckham obviously holds the record with 1,305 receiving yards for a rookie. Wandell also caught 7 catches, increases season total of 78. Right? His previous career high was 60, was set last year. So he's got 78. He's on pace for probably at least 85. It just goes to show you, Malik's going to have, knock on wood, over 100, and Wandell's on pace to get like 85 receptions. Between the two guys, they're going to very closely have combined to almost 200 catches between the two of them. Unfortunately, it's not producing points, but also a lot of the receptions. You look at Wandell. He was, he's averaging 7-8 yards of receptions. Just a lot of short stuff. We're not really getting much deep. The only one we have, odd to say, but Tim Boyle was in his one half of play, completed 5 passes, I think were over for at least for 16 yards. I think it was 2 16-yard completions, a 17, I think it was a 23 and a 25-yard reception. I think it was. It was 12 completions. It was all in the one half. So Boyle was at least getting the ball down the field. Unlike Drew Lock, who was completing it to the other team. Let's see. The score was Tracy's first career touchdown reception. Nice catch. It was also the first by a Giants running back this season. Oh, my God. Tyrone Tracy didn't have a big day running the ball, gaining only 26 yards on 7 carries. But once again, the thing is, you get down by a lot. You're not going to try to, when you're down by 13 touchdowns, you're not trying to establish the run. Once again, we don't have a phenomenal offensive line. Well, I'm going to go over tomorrow on that. I'm going to go over the grades and all for the players and everything like that. But, the offensive line was not phenomenal. He scored the Giants' only touchdown. He gave him a 7-3 lead. Just 7 seconds into the second quarter. And unfortunately, after that was all the points the Giants scored. Tracy also has 4 rushing touchdowns, ties Nabers with the team lead with 5, which is absolutely pathetic. For the team to tie, you got 2 guys, team lead at 5 touchdowns on the season. It's like, and we're going into our 16th game, and it's just so pathetic. Let's see. Tracy increased his season rushing total to 721 yards. That moved him past Eddie Price of 703 yards in 1950 and into a tie with Andre Williams for 4th on the Giants rookie list. Ron Dane is 3rd with 770 yards in 2000. In his 3rd start of the season, Locke completed 22 of 39 passes, 210 yards. The touchdown to Tracy and 2 interceptions, of course, both of returned for pick sixes. Let's see. Bates and Judon both scored Atlanta's defensive touchdowns. Bates gave the Falcons a 10-7 lead when he picked off Locke. The pass was intended for Robinson and returned at 55 yards to the end zone. On the second play of the third quarter, Locke's pass to Malik Nabers hit Zach Harrison and was plucked out of the air by Judon, who ran it back 26 yards for the score. Locke is the first Giants quarterback to throw multiple pick sixes in a game since Eli Manning did it against Minnesota. I think the game against Minnesota, I know one of the games in Minnesota, he had, let me say, he had 2. But he had, I don't know how many interceptions he had in that game. Let's see here. New York Giants 2007. That's 41-17. We lost 41-17. We were home. We lost 41-17. Let's see here. All right. Darren Sharper had a 20-yard interception return. Dwight Smith had a 93-yard. He had 3 pick sixes in that game. 3 pick sixes in that game. Chad Greenway returned 137 yards for a touchdown. Dwight Smith returned 193 yards for a touchdown, and Darren Sharper returned 120 yards for a touchdown. And we lost by 41-17. And how many interceptions did Eli have that game there? Turnovers. He had 4. Eli had 4 interceptions in that game against Minnesota in 2003 pick sixes. Let's see here. Minnesota's obviously Andrew Van Ginkel scored on a 10-yard interception return. And Dallas's Overshown picked off Locke and ran it back 23 yards. That too. Rashawn Jenkins had the ball float into his hands after Eric Gray's fumble and returned 102 yards. Remember that against Seattle? That was a 14-point swing right there. And then obviously Calvin Austin ran a punt back 73 yards for us. I mean, it was just, let's say, the 6th return touchdown ties the Giants in Tennessee for the most allowed in the NFL season. And what do both those teams have in common? Well, 1, they both need quarterbacks, and 2, they absolutely blow. Right? 6 returns for touchdowns. The Giants do have 1, right? I mean, the block field goal. But, I mean, Locke also fumbled. It was just the second time this season the Giants committed as many as 3 turnovers in a game. But once again, another one of the things is that they're not winning the turnover battle. Yeah, even though they maybe get a turnover here or something, they're not winning the turnover battle. And that's one of the things that also obviously helps you win football games, which is not, we're always, every week, week in and week out, we're losing the turnover battle. Cordell Flott had the Giants' only takeaway when he intercepted a Penix pass, but to Kyle Pitts. Flott returned the ball 25 yards with 7 seconds remaining in the first half, so obviously that helped take points off the board, possibly take points off the board if he didn't pick that off. If he just threw the ball out of bounds or whatever it was, maybe they kick a field goal, so maybe they get 3 extra points. But let's see. The group, let's see. Oh, yeah. Flott was one of several Giants who returned to action after missing time with injuries. Nacho came back. Banks came back. And Drew Phillips came back. Darius Muasel led the team with 11 tackles. He did really well the week before, too. I forgot. I think he had like 8 tackles. I think McFadden had 11, and Muasel had 7 or 8. So Muasel's, hey, he's not saying he's an all-pro, but not bad for a 6th-round pick. Guy gets put on special teams, right? And you say at least in a pinch, he can get put in there and play some defense. He had 11 tackles. Good for him. And what they usually say is usually by your third NFL season, you are what you are. Well, this is his first season. If he at least, start ascending a little bit each year, by the time he gets to his 3rd year, obviously, hopefully, he'll be even a little bit better. Not a bad 6th-round pick. McFadden, the team's leader in tackles this season, left the game in the second quarter with a neck injury. Shocking. John Runyon on the injured reserve. Aaron Stinney in the NFL concussion protocol. Undrafted rookie Jay Kubas was the Giants' starting left guard. Giants' inactive players were Stroman, D. Williams, Devad Wilson, Aaron Stinney, Casey Rogers, and Tim Boyle, who was the 3rd quarterback for the Giants. I mean, just the injuries are it's absolutely just unbelievable. Unbelievable. It's just simply amazing. Then I got another one here. This is it's from Giants SI.com. Give you a report card. All right. Head coach Brian Daboll, that said the offense, decided to go back to Drew Lock this week despite Tim Boyle showing last week against a good Ravens team that he could play with anticipation. Well, so much for that idea. Lock, who did at least get the Giants on board in the second quarter, during which point they temporarily held the lead, threw 2 pick sixes, of which he threw late, and the other a batted ball, and which he didn't get enough height on it. Both were backbreakers. On the Giants' final drive, the offense was flagged 5 times. That's all, 5 times. The amount of penalties is unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. I think we've had double-digit penalties in the last 3 games. It's just unbelievable. Including a 5-yard holding flag against Wan'Dale Robinson and negated a 5-yard touchdown route by Tyrone Tracy in garbage time. To put that total in perspective, those 5 penalties represented 50% of the Giants finished the day with. So they had 10 penalties. So they only had 5 going into the final drive, but they committed 5 on the final drive. It's just unbelievable. That's not bad enough. 3 of those 5 penalties were false starts, 2 of which were by right tackle Evan Neal. Giants finished 33.3% on 3rd down conversions, 3 out of 9, not good enough, and managed 234 yards of offense on 55 plays, 4.3 yards per play average. And that's not good enough. That's not even close. That's a joke. 234 yards of offense. Speaking of not good enough, the Giants averaged 4.5 yards per pass attempt. So much for trying to stretch the field. which is something Boyle was able to do. Not totally shy, but he had pass completion, 16, I think, 17 to 23 and to 25. Right? The longest plays of the day were a pair of 21-yard pass completions, one to Darius Slayton and the other to Malik Nabers, both coming in the fourth quarter with the Falcons' defense in prevent mode. The right side of the offensive line, Van Roten and Evan Neal, often played like a swinging gate, and their inability to hold their ground caused the second pick six. They got to try. They have to, if they don't bring Van Roten back, they got to try Evan Neal at guard. I'm sorry, they got to. I can't even talk. They got to put him in the guard. They got to try him at guard. The Giants don't have a viable option at quarterback. They need to think about a position switch for Evan Neal, and the coaching needs a makeover. Given the repeated mistakes this unit puts up on tape weekly, the defense. There were 0 sacks. Remember, there was a time where we actually had a good sack in the quarterback, right? We were leading the league. I mean, once again, another game, hardly any quarterback hits. Quarterback rush was like non-existent. It's just only 2 quarterback pressures and a lot of leaking on the edges. Deontay Banks cost his team a 30-yard pass interference penalty that set up the score, and Atlanta finished 8 out of 14 on third down. Otherwise, there was a sprinkling of good plays here and there. Yes, there was, such as Drew Phillips, returning from a multi-week absence due to shoulder injury, dragging down running back Bijan Robinson and Brian Burns and Boogie Basham, each recording a tackle for a loss. Overall, though, it wasn't enough. Special teams, a quiet game for this much maligned unit, and that's a good thing. All things considered, Jamie Gillen put 3 of his 5 punts inside the 20, and that is 40.8 yards per punt, the hammer. There were no field goal attempts for Graham Cano, but he made his lone PAT. Not much for Smith-Marset on punt returns other than a 6-yard return. And Eric Gray, who actually held on to the football, and his long return was for 37 yards. The coaching. They gave the coaching an F. Coach Brian Dable might as well record it's not good enough and play it every time he's asked a question after a loss because that's what it's got. Well, see, what he says, Dable says, is if you remember, right, is it's just not good enough. That's on me. They didn't say it there. It's just not good enough. You put that on me. Then next week, when we lose 312-0 to the Colts, it's just not good enough. It's on me. Then we lose that 37,412-0 to the Eagles. That's just not good enough. That's on me. But you remember, like what Judge used to say was, I got to check the tape out. Well, what happened on such and such a play? Judge was like, just pull, that one is like talking dolls. I'm going back to when I was a kid, right back in the 60s, the 70s, and all that. They used to have these dolls. You have a string you pull, and it would say something. And usually it was the same thing, almost the same thing over and over and over. Well, Joe Judge was like, we pull the cord. Oh, yeah, Coach, what happened in this one play when the Giants lost 13 yards on a screen pass? I gotta look at pull the cord. Oh, yeah, I gotta look at the tape. Well, what happened on this play where we got burned for a 75-yard touchdown reception? I gotta look at the tape. It's just the same thing over and over and over. It's just, you don't know. We're going to talk a little more in depth and detail with about Dave's here. It's like, obviously, the guy's playing with a shorthand, but there are teams out there or, I don't expect the guy to be a Hall of Fame coach or nothing like that or nothing. But there's other, our coaches out there who, really good coaches, they play shorthanded from time to time and stuff like that, and they make the game competitive, right? Remember, like you talk about the Tommy Tupa game, right? Who was basically the Jets punter, right? He was forced into action, and Bill Parcells found a way almost to win that football game with his punter. Tommy Tuberville was kind of like a quarterback, but it was also the punter for the team. Vinny Testaverde, I think got injured. It was like, I think it was game 1 of the season or something like that. And he brought his punter in there because his backup quarterback, I forgot exactly what it was, but they didn't have a backup quarterback, or the backup quarterback was, I don't know, it was the third string or something, or it was the emergency quarterback or something. So they had to put Tommy Tupper in there, and he completed like 5 or 6 passes the whole game. And the Jets almost wound up winning. Good coaches find good ways to correct problems and stuff like that. And Dable has no answers. No answers, absolutely no answers. It's just the same stuff over and over and over. Yeah. This is thankfully the game coming up here this weekend is against the Colts is the final home game. It'd be interesting to see what kind of banner flies above the stadium, right? Because there'll probably be something flying above the stadium. This would be the Giants, and we're going to talk our final game against the Eagles, just a little more in depth and detail, a little farther down our program here tonight. Well, you got to be a little leery of the Eagles for the final game of the season, and I'll explain a little more about that because the Eagles are nothing but scumbags. So we'll have to keep our eyes on the Eagles, right? Because they were nothing more than just to screw with the Giants. So we'll talk about that a little bit. But once again, it's just the same old, same old. I mean, how many times can you get blown out and just you don't know, how much is it, coaching, how much is it, because you're so annihilated with talent because of all the injuries. You don't know how much of it also is the fight or the lack thereof on his players' parts. Because if you got 11 guys on defense and just say 8 of them are really, or 7 of them are really giving it their all, and 4 of them are kind of lackadaisical kind of out there, you know what I mean? It's going to hurt, but just same old, same old. Thankfully, we only have 2 games left in the season, and then we'll be looking forward to the next season, as we do every year. But